Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. We have Lucas Pessoa with us today. Lucas is CEO and founder of Kardz with a Z. He's bridging the gap between task and management and communication. So a better Trello, a better Monday.com, a better Asana. Who knows? We're going to find out today. Lucas, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and Kardz.
Hey, Charles, thank you. Yeah, a little bit about myself. So I grew up in Brazil and I moved to the US at the age of 17. And from there, I went to college. I lived for a couple of years in Japan, did a study abroad in Singapore. So it's been a lot of going in different parts of the world and trying to study and learn their culture and how people do things. Graduated from Brigham Young University in Provo, Utah, as a mechanical engineer, and with emphasis in product development and robotics, mechatronics. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Why Kardz? I mean, you probably tried a couple of apps yourself, wasn't satisfied with how productive they were making you. But it's a crowded market. It's a difficult market. Why did you choose that category?
Yeah, it's definitely a very saturated market. And I don't know if it wasn't much of a choice. It was a pain I had. So right after I graduated from school, I started working for a dev shop or called Dev Squad in Utah as well. And I was a PM there. And I realized I spent tons of my time, probably 40% or more of my time just communicating, right? So we were a dev shop, so we had tons of clients. So it was a lot of, I would send an email to a client and they respond, and then I have to go into the platform. We used to use Jira. Don't know if you're familiar with. Then I have to go into Jira and upload everything I talk to the customer or the client. And even with other teams internally, we had a design team that wasn't internal to that immediate development team with a certain client, right? And we also had a DevOps team. And like I said, a lot of my time was keeping everyone on the same page, understanding what was going on with different projects, but not just with the life cycle of a project itself, like the tasks that were pertaining to it, but like I said, communication and organizing myself, basically, right? That was the hugest challenge for me, just keep myself afloat of amongst everything that was going on. So I tried, like you said, there's Asana, there's Trello, there's Monday. We were using Jira too, which is a phenomenal platform for teams, and that wasn't solving my problem. So I tried to figure out why. And what I came to the conclusion is that all those platforms, they're made for internal teams, like work within your team, within that project, and that's it. So if you're doing that, if you have one project, one team, maybe one client you're working with, that's great. Just use those platforms, is going to be amazing, right? But the moment you have a second client or a second project you're in, or anything outside of that unique project you're working on, then it starts becoming a problem. So not, and I'm focusing on agencies here. That's where I was working, because we're working constantly with like 6, 7, 8 different clients at the same time. So there's like 6 projects going on. I'm not usually, most of the time in an agency, I'm not unique to one project. I'm collaborating tons of different projects, and that's where the pain started rising for me, right? Keeping track of all these different things I was doing with different companies even. So like you said, it's a very saturated market, but I believe Kardz is, yes, it's supposed to replace Asana, Trello, and all of those, but in this specific environment that really requires something additional that those platforms don't have.
Which is
Which is this, yeah, sorry, I just said what the problem was. I didn't say what we're doing. So yeah, we're really gapping our focus. When you open the platform, everything is in your perspective. So it doesn't matter how many clients, how many projects, whatever you're collaborating with, or even if it's just for yourself, maybe you're just having your personal to-dos, because I also realized that even when you're collaborating with people in Asana, Jira, whatever it is, everyone has their personal to-do list outside of that, because they need to organize themselves, and that collaborative, everyone can see kind of board going on, that's not enough for them. They have their own stuff that they're doing. So when you log into Kardz, we want to bring everything that you're doing into a single place. So, and then allow you to organize yourself however you want. If you want to split what you're doing by clients, great. You can have it all in one page and just group them by clients. If you want to split by types of projects, or maybe story points, if you're doing like the whole sizing different tasks. So however you want to organize yourself, then you should be able to do it. So that's one of the big goals of Kardz, is not just, kind of going back to this idea of Jira, Sun, and whatnot. They were made for the productivity of a single person, and that usually is the leader of that project, because that person is the one that's responsible for setting up the platform, setting up the project, setting up the columns, what's going to be on the top, of what's going to be in the bottom, and then everyone else just has to follow along. So Kardz, just, even though you're collaborating with other people, we allow you to make yourself organize yourself however you want, so you can be as productive as you should be.
Right. I think that's the problem sometimes, is that people don't really know how to organize themselves. So they A/B test a lot, various views, various strategies. But I often say to folks that it's not necessarily technology at first. It's mostly like mental habits and how you think, mental models that you have. So if me and my side nowadays, I told you my systems, it's calendars and a Google Docs, with check boxes. These boxes, they feel so good to check, My day, if I check like 10 of these boxes, I had a great day, right? And they're in order of priorities at the top, but that's hard. Don't you feel an AI would help with that? Like, just organize my calendar, organize my to-do in terms of importance. It would fetch like the to-do, and it would calculate and reason how valuable that ticket is. It would group it with other tickets so that I don't lose the focus. And I don't know, it would give me points, it would be like, hey, you just won 600 points. And it would also measure the efficacy and the energy that I need to invest in that, like if it knows that I have 10 minutes between two meetings, then it's like, oh, do this, and that. That'll feel good. And then you'll have that meeting with that person. You'll be energized because you just checked these 3 boxes. What do you think about that vision?
Yeah, I do like that. Like I said, one of the things that we do is allow you to group however you want, right? So as you said, one thing that came up that I just thought is allowing you to do, maybe one of the options of grouping is smart grouping. And then where we deploy some sort of AI technology behind it that will, in a smart way, group your tasks for you based on a criteria that you set up. So it might be how much energy I should be putting to these, or how long something will probably take. And there are some platforms that will do things just along those lines too. So what I want to be careful about is not trying to just be another platform, if that makes sense, right? Like, I want to make sure that I can show what we do that is unique. And one of the things is that we put everything in your perspective. So we even allow you to have basically contacts that you can connect with. And so it's like, really, for you, if you need something from someone you're a friend with, or it's just your contact, maybe your colleague from work, then it's right there. You can just ask them whatever you want, and they'll get like, hey, someone's asking you to get this done. And then anytime you can just follow up, you can keep tabs on where that's at in the process. So going back to the idea of AI, I think that's definitely helpful, but there are also platforms that are really specialized in organizing your schedule based on AI, right? Using AI.
And where's the AI exactly? Is it in the grouping? Is that an active feature? Do I have an assistant? Also, I can just tell like group my stuff, put this there. Or is it mostly fully automated? I just toggle something and it's done, second nature.
Right now it's the toggling behind it. I think you came up with this idea of, I mean, AI, applying AI to grouping, which is, I think, super cool. And we probably will be implementing right now what we have with AI, because that's the second thing we do different from anyone else. Like I said, it should be in your perspective, so you can actually start bringing your communications into the platform as well. And that's where that gapping between collaboration communication is really coming together. Because my idea and our vision is, when you open a task, you should have all related communications, everything that's related to that, in that single place. So even if I have like an email that someone sent to me, then we use AI to go through your emails and say, hey, it looks like this email or these different chains of email are related to this task. So we automatically put it in there so you can collaborate through email without even leaving the task itself. So it's contextualizing your communication and contextualizing your doings.
Right. So on the roadmap, what I just mentioned, which would feel like a drastic improvement from most of things that are out there, some kind of AI to optimize my time, energy, and output, calculating like the impact of my action, that's quite complex and quite hard.
Mhm.
When would you foresee that happening? Because I would definitely be a customer of yours if you want to have that.
Yeah, we're probably looking, that's going to be later down the road. We want to make sure we nail what we're different, like how we're different compared to other companies. And like I said, so for example, Superhuman, I don't know if you've heard of it. They are focused on that AI perspective, right? Like on organizing for you what you have to do, so you don't have to think about it. So we're definitely want to bring that into the platform, into Kardz, but that's probably going to be in 6 to 8 months ish. So a little down the road, not something that we're looking into immediately.
And when would Neuralink drop, where I would have a visual interface on my to-dos and I would be connected directly to this AI that would make me drastically more productive because it would know what's in my brain and I would know what's in his.
So say that one more time. Let's see. You want some magic there.
I want some magic, yes. I'm tired of the current apps and the boredom and most of these task management apps, and yeah, I
Mhm.
want to be able to think and predict and be so much more efficient with my times through the help of a device that's directly in my brain. That would be the solution to productivity, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that probably would. So when we talk about AI, right now, we actually don't have that much of power because all of our AI is trained. But it would be, I mean, we're slowly going that direction where now different companies allow you to train your own AI to make sure that it starts predicting what you want to do and how you want to do it. I think we're just not quite there as far as technology to really cover that much of prediction and making you as productive as you could be, literally, right? That's the goal. But we're trying to do one step at a time and focusing on what we can do now, which is at least bring everything that's related to one topic to a single place so you can make smart decisions about it.
Right. Have you got some funding yet?
So no, we're bootstrapping. There was a time that I was looking to funding, but one thing I learned early-ish, maybe not early enough, that funding is best when you have product fit, right? Market product fit. It's for scaling. You want funding when you're about and ready to scale, and I wasn't ready to scale. I was still trying to find product market fit, trying to really understand exactly how I'm different from other people, how I'm solving their problems in different ways, and start getting those first few customers. But soon we should be ready to scale. So yeah, we might be looking to some funding in the next 6 months.
And how many users so far?
So we sell to companies, but we're at a total of about 60 users, paying users, right? We're clients, I guess, because we do have a free version. So we're still quite small. Our growth has really started like end last year. So I'm excited for this year. There should be a lot going on. But yeah, we're about 60 right now.
How do you get your new customers?
So I've tried a few different things. There's obviously the whole email campaigns that people talk about, and I tried some of those. Since we're focusing on small and medium businesses, I've had a mentor and a few other friends that told me, hey, SMBs is probably best if you focus on relationships, right? You don't want just to be blasting their emails with discounts or whatever it is. They're more interested in someone that will say, hey, I'm here with you. Let's walk together this road and let's make sure you get what you deserve out of my product. So with that in mind, it's been a lot of referrals actually. A lot of our first customers starting telling other people and other companies that they're using Kardz and it's great, and anyone in the platform, like, they always know what they have to do. There's literally like a lot of pros that people have been talking about and referring other customers to use it. So far has been mostly that, referrals, but we do plan on trying some new stuff because that's not, I mean, I guess it's sustainable in a way, but it's not going to be much of a growth if we just rely on referrals, I guess.
How challenging is it so far, the grind?
Oh, it's terrible. It's yeah, it's very overwhelming. I don't know, like, everyone will say, like, if you want to start your company, it's going to be tough and whatnot, and we always think, oh yeah, I can do it, like, I'm tough. But once you're in your everyday, and it's been a month, it's been 6 months, it's been a year, and you're at it, and if it sometimes feels like things are not moving, well, they'll probably never move how you want them to move, so you always feel like behind. It's, yeah, it's really tough. Like, there's definitely various days that I go to bed crying, trying to think, what's going to be next, right? Like, should I just give up? But no, I mean, I've been on the other side, and whenever you like have a customer come to you and say, hey, I'm loving this, right? Like, or you have a new sale, and people are starting to use it and they're telling their friends and whatnot, like, that feels amazing. So like, that's really what refuels you to keep going.
Right. Do you often compare yourself with other startup? Is that why you feel that you're back? Don't you feel this is FOMO?
um yeah, definitely. There's a lot I think, because you're gonna read books, you're gonna see podcasts, you're gonna listen to podcasts, you're gonna see articles and whatnot, where there's an average where people go from like nothing to their first $1 million in ARR, and that usually is like 2 to 5 years. We'll put it there. It depends on if you unicorn and whatnot, but um, you start approaching your third year and you're like, oh crap, like, I'm behind already, right? Like, you're always comparing yourself to stories you've heard, and we tend, like, as humans, I feel like we always compare ourselves to the top people, right? It's not even like they're exception in the world, but we keep comparing ourselves to them, and that just makes us feel worse about ourselves.
Kind of. And yeah, the dichotomy is that these humans are also like normal folks, you know? So
Right.
what they did is, I mean, it's
It's
doable,
doable.
right?
Yeah,
But most of the time, the thing is that these humans, they forgot about the grind and they forgot about the pain now that they're at the top, you know? They had the time to rest and forget. Sometimes the
true.
subconscious will even have them forget unconsciously these painful moments, you know, just so that they can keep going. And then they're like, yeah, look at me. Everything was
Yeah,
easy. Just do this and that. And then the advice that they give you is crap also because they're already at the top, you know? You're not
right. They
scaling the
forgot
mountain
what it
anymore.
feels like. Totally. Yeah, yeah. We often forget, what it feels like when we're going through hard times. Otherwise, we wouldn't do the same mistakes twice, right?
Right. If we would remember the pain and feel how it felt, you know, we humans forget a lot also, not just the folks at the top, but yeah, you need to be naive and yeah, like almost reckless as a founder to be successful. Needs to take a lot of risk and I feel yeah, convert that pain into pleasure, you know. Um
Hmm.
for me nowadays it's not chasing pleasure, it's chasing that pain. And once you impose that on you, you have adaptation and you become strong or powerful. But sometimes I have problems, you know, enjoying the view and, you know, enjoying my accomplishments. You know, it's like
Yeah,
when people give me a compliment, I instantly brush it off. You know, I cannot take it in. And even if I
yeah.
say thank you, I don't really let it in. You know, it's this weird state. It's like we're aliens almost.
Yeah, that's definitely something I had to or I'm learning how to do, right? To really take it in when someone says something good, because we're often looking for the pain because we want to solve people's pains, right? And struggles. And I think one of the worst ways to compare yourself, even if you're comparing, is when you just think about the money, right? When you're thinking just revenue or how many customers you have, because uh, yeah, that's great. Like you do need to build a company, you do need to be profitable one day, but it's way more fulfilling when you know that you're actually solving people's problems instead of you just making money out of them.
Right. And some events they happen so quick, you know, like for example, when someone announces that they want to acquire your company, or when you sign
Yeah,
that big deal, you know, these moments they happen so quick, but the grind is so slow that
true.
yeah, the reward systems are just or brain is not made to reward us adequately and scale in that way. Sometimes also, I mean, you had a career in product or a couple roles. Some of
Hmm.
these software engineers they're making 1 million a year, you know. Most lawyers in most cities, corporate ones, are making 500K. I mean, if they work at the top firm, right? So you often compare yourself to some of your friends that chose that career path.
Hmm. Totally. Yeah, that's I was actually talking to a friend about it the other day, because that's one of the, I don't know if the hardest thing, but definitely like with social media and all of that, like people my age, and I had a job too, and I was perfectly happy. I was making six figure and whatnot. I could be there where they are as well. But I chose this, and it's hard. It's hard to see people traveling and having tons of days off and going on cruises and whatnot. Not that I couldn't do it, but I feel like there's so much I should be doing, I have to get done, that it's hard to even take the time or even put aside some money to get it done.
Or it's just that you rewired your brain literally to crunch work and you giving your brain some kind of break to enjoy quote unquote would feel not good. So,
Right. Yeah, you kind of start feeling guilty about it.
right. The tip for that, I think I took my first break like 5 years in business, you know, and had at first I started with a week. I saw that my business wasn't burning during that time frame that my employees could manage. Um, then it was 2 weeks, then it was 3 weeks. Nowadays I don't have employees to take care of my stuff while I'm not there. I have AIs, but and also
Hmm.
my philosophy is just that I have such a great life, you know, that breaks are not super fun for me. You spend days interviewing cool people, asking questions, getting insights, generating conversation, taking a break doesn't have much ROI. So to each
Yeah,
their own, and
right.
I'm
If you're
mostly
doing what you
against
love,
breaks.
yeah. If you're doing what you love, what you like, which should be life most of the time, right? For it's I mean, it's sadly not true for most people. Well, we just do our 9 to 5 and that's it, right? But if you're doing what you like, then yeah, you probably don't even need a break, right? You're putting breaks in your day. You're the other day when we chatted, you were back from like biking, I think. So yeah, if you're putting those little breaks in your day and making that part of your life, then yeah, you don't need to take a week off necessarily.
Right. I'm laughing because there's the dog. He's being mischievous, and he look what he did to the tennis ball.
Oh
Uh,
wow,
yeah, he crushed it.
strong mouth.
Yeah. So work with my doggies, chill. Yeah, I think people need to kind of design their ideal life, and it might take a long time. I was a nomad for some time, traveled a lot, and that was a part of my life. Just visiting new countries and working at the same time. So people need to
Yeah,
potentially be more conscious of that and scale is a word, because if you always impose hardships on yourself and pain, at some point your body's going to negatively react and it's just a negative chain of events. So people need to, yeah, take care of themselves and scale, because some high
totally.
achievers, they're like, yo, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do fitness every day. But in the end, yeah, you need to integrate all these micro moments in your day and take care of yourself.
Yeah, totally agree. And it's funny because we do. It's a weird balance, right? We need the grind, otherwise we're not gonna really go anywhere. You can't just be living the good life, always. Um, but at the same time, yeah, you do need the break, and we often hear about all the time we listen to people's stories and their companies and where they got, and but we forget, that every day until they got where they at, they were grinding too. They were maybe hopeless some days, right? Like they were where we are, but we often don't think about that, and we just think we're worse than everyone else.
And don't you think that AI will take care of the grind while us humans will focus on creative stuff fully?
Well, yeah, I think. Well, that's the thing too. I think AI will likely be doing some of the creative stuff too for us. um, Eventually, I've been reading some books lately on AI, and like some of them are just futuristics and whatnot. And yeah, it talks about how AI will likely run everything that we do today, and all that's left for us to live a life however you want it, which is kind of cool, but also I don't know, sounds kind of weird and stressful and and boring sometimes. I don't know.
Yeah, we need to impose pain on ourselves. I think there's two types of humans. Like most of us are wired to pleasure and would live that life, but as entrepreneur, we're just wired for pain. So I don't think that would ever happen to us.
Yeah, we'll always find something new to try to fix, right?
There you go. Where can people find out more about you, Lucas?
Yeah, so I'm on LinkedIn, Lucas Pessoa, and there's you can go to our kardz.info, www.kardz.info. There's more information on the platform and also myself in there. Um, Others social media platforms. If you go to LinkedIn, you'll find links to those in there as well. But yeah, LinkedIn's probably the easiest way to start a conversation.